Adam and Annalisa, welcome to Voices of Elevate. Yay, I'm
Oh,
really
thank you for
excited to
having
talk
me.
to you because I've added an extra day to the festival just for you because when you said you could come, I was like, well, there's no space, but I have to make space for
Oh,
this because it's so special. And yeah, please tell the listeners all about what you are bringing to Elevate in a few weeks.
oh well, I mean, first off, expressing huge gratitude for that opportunity because, yeah, we didn't really know what we were going to be doing. We knew something was going to be happening, but we weren't sure what. And then,
We had plans to be in Peru, but that's all been shifted back to next year. So we'll be doing a trip to Peru with a group of people. But yeah, that was kind of
Mm.
on the card. So we're keeping we don't really book anything in advance, do we, at the moment?
no,
So
no. And then obviously, yeah, Annalisa reached out and you said you could do it. And we're like, yeah, let's go. So yeah, to sort of summarize, our brand is Galactiv8, and the events are, well, the dance events are Galactivation. So kind of the idea being connecting deeply with the Earth, but deeply with the cosmos and our galactic brothers and sisters, and dancing in celebration and high vibration alignment to really flush out any blockages, negativity, any of that stuff. Just let it rise up and be danced out.
in a really fun way, yeah. Sort of
Yeah,
rather than sort of sitting there for ages doing your inner work, you could just kind of dance and let it all flow and move through the system.
Yeah. Now, Adam, I met you quite a long time ago, and I remember I remember meeting you and being like, "Wow, this guy's a soul brother," because you just know, don't you? You just know, and it's funny that your business is Galactivate and mine is Elevate,
yeah, that's great, isn't
and now
it?
they're joining forces,
Yeah,
and
it's brilliant.
and it's just that you are quite a genius, I must say, and that way before all this stuff was trendy, you were already kind of traveling the world and recording sounds from the different chakras of the planet, and weren't you, and
Absolutely,
making
yeah.
music with that energy and frequency, and you've got a real understanding of how frequency affects the different parts energetics in our body. I mean, I don't know anyone else as gifted as you when it comes to that, when it comes
Thank
to the
you.
music energy. And I couldn't be more excited that you're bringing that to this special event,
Oh,
um
thank you so much, Jenna. Yeah, and I'll just briefly touch on that actually.
yeah.
So yeah, many years ago, somebody introduced me to this system of music that aligns the 432 hertz system with energy centers, the chakra points, and points in between those points as well as their relationship to color and the chakra points, the energy centers on the planet. Obviously, everyone has a different relationship with those energy centers, and they mean different things to different people. So I just went with what I felt and the guidance that I'd sort of received from other beings. So yeah, I decided it must have been around 2014 to just go to these places and make music and express the energy of that place as a conduit of my own energy and my sort of connection to parallel lives on different planets and as different star systems and things. So it's a really cool system because when you start to create the music, you just feel into your body. And if there's a certain point in your body that's going wop, 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 you go, okay, so I'm feeling like I'm in my heart space. And that means that there's a BPM and a key already defined. So you're like, okay, so we're writing it C on 120 BPM. Let's go. And those sort of limitations actually allow this infinite expansion of creativity because you kind of, the questions that always come up at the beginning of making a piece of music is, and which is a bit silly, is like, how fast is it going to be and what am I going to do? And you don't quite know, you can get a little bit lost. But since using this system, it all like links together. And then there's a beautiful link of the BPM in the key, which also means that they all work together absolutely beautifully. So say I'd written a track in the sacral chakra, which is like 101.25 BPM, but then I'm kind of feeling a bit hearty. You can speed up the sacral to the heart, and then it will work with all the frequencies that are made in the heart space. So it's like this sort of 5D mesh of harmonic vibration that's all been gathered from all around the planet and through all sorts of meditative states. And yeah, it's super fun and a very powerful and expressive and unifying and sort of it really shakes out any energetic cobwebs. It's super, super fun.
And you're sort of channeling from Arcturus as well, aren't you? And
Yeah.
really interestingly, at the ecstatic dances that I run, we've got DJ Fribbo, and he played one of your tracks recently, and I was just dancing, and I go into my little trance, and I was in this trance with my eyes shut, and then I suddenly saw, I got this rush of energy, and then I suddenly saw Ectorians in my mind's eye, and I suddenly went poof, ran to the DJ bit, and I went, "Is this Adam's track?" And he went, "Yes." And I went, "Oh my God!" Like, I just
That's amazing.
so like even your music activated me to connect with the Arcturians, you know, and it was
That's
like, wow,
fantastic.
this guy is a pure bloody genius. Like you are. That was like reinforcing that you are channeling from there.
Mhm.
You
I've been
know,
doing quite a lot of live channeling as well whilst playing now, so kind of moved into vocal channeling whilst actually doing the live sets.
Yes,
wow.
I've integrated a microphone into the setup so I can sing and chant and then occasionally speak. So we've been doing a bit of work on vocal channeling. So, actually channeling the energy of Arcturus vocally as information,
Right.
which is it's a very peculiar experience. Having been a teacher, I'm very used to knowing what's about to come out of my mouth. So I find it's a bit weird when you're channeling and you don't know what you're about to say.
Yeah,
So
and you're having to sort of get out of your human self out the way and just
yeah,
allow that to come through.
I'll
exactly.
just be
Yeah.
sat there and then Adam's gone and I'm talking to someone completely different. And it's just like, what? Where's he gone? Yeah, you've left me. And then I have to start a conversation with somebody else, and actually talk, ask questions, record the information, and like I'm
Amazing.
literally abandoned. There's been some interesting beings come through. There's been quite a few different ones, but most of them have been amazing, and some of them have been a bit peculiar.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's so interesting. And how exciting in your relationship to be like exploring this together.
it's super
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, and
Yeah.
something that we've been exploring a lot is the teachings of Bashar. The channel, Darryl Anker channeling the being Bashar, and we've been watching his videos hours and hours every week. We watch hundreds of them. So he's been doing it for 40 years, and every month he does a 20-minute monologue with a couple of hours of questions. But as a result of watching all of his things, it's super empowered us to understand the nature of physical reality and the nature of incarnations. And something that's been really incredible in his teachings is the understanding that if everything is in the here and now, then your past and future lives are happening right now. They're not in the past, they're not in the future, and also they're not you. It's you from a different perspective. It's you from the oversoul perspective that's having these parallel lives. And so when tuning into channeling, understanding that that being, which seems like it's far, far in the future or far, far in the past or in a completely different dimension, is happening right now. And what you're doing by entering the channeling state is opening your sort of conscious vibrational state to what, as Bashar calls it, telepathically. So not telepathically, but telempathically pick up on the vibrations of these other beings who you're connected to through your oversoul vibration, and allowing that to come through. And since sort of unpicking that, so not looking so much at the past and future lives, but parallel happening right now, it's really empowering because this is a slight offshoot from what I was initially talking about, but in terms of like karma and like fixing past life stuff, the reason that past life, and I'm sorry for the air quotes, but the reason that past life memories come up is because your state of being is in such a vibratory state that it relates to these other beings who are going through these experiences. And you can offer them vibrational information, downloads, teachings, lessons, power, strength, vulnerability that they may not be able to find in that moment, and they can do the same for you. So previously, we'd been doing a lot of work with the Orion energies, and as the story goes, in the deep, deep past, in the Orion Nebula, there was a civilization that had huge amounts of trials and tribulations and war and oppression and all of that sort of stuff. And I had been tuning into a being in that space. And it was interesting because actually one of the first times I met you was when you did some treatment on a back injury that I'd had. And we went to the Netherlands to do a medicine ceremony, and I've really tuned into this other being. And it turned out that during the Orion War, this being was employed by the government as a torturer, which was a little bit like, whoa. And at first, initially, I felt that looking at it from a linear perspective, saying that this guy was a past life, and now I've got this back injury, which is karma for what I was doing as a torturer as this other being. And now, through Bashar's teachings, it's been so empowering because it's not a karmic retribution of the universe giving me a bad back because I was a bad person in another life. It was, I was experiencing a similar vibration to what this being is a part of, and they were either doing or have had it done to them, and I was cross-connecting, and we were able to exchange this beautiful information with each other that helped both of us significantly. He was able to gather an understanding of what inflicting pain onto another being was like, and I was able to sort of feed back to them that actually pain can be a significant teacher in your experience. And pretty much everything that we go through in physical reality, we knew we were in for it as we took our life in physical reality. We were forgotten as soon as we were born, but we knew it was coming, and we knew that it was an effort of self-exploration, of really understanding who you are from every single possible point of view, and not looking at it in a negative light, but putting a positive spin.
I love it because I do past life regressions, but I've stopped so much recently because I was really unsure of what actually was happening, and it didn't feel like what we believe it to be. It felt like there was more to it, you know. And so there's definitely something there that I want to explore with people, and what you're saying really resonates. And also, I remember years ago, like whilst tripping on LSD, you know, going to different past lives. And I remember one of them, I was in ancient Egypt as real as this reality. And every time I shut my eyes, I was there. And then when I opened them, I was back at this festival, off-grid festival in a tent. And every time I shut my eyes, I was back there. But both realities, I didn't feel like psychedelic or weird. They both felt very awake and normal.
It's just like you pull yourself back into the oversoul perspective, and then you can kind of shoot off into the different branches.
And then I could also, and interestingly, it was the first time that I was actually with Luke, my ex, and the lives that, you know, we were the first time us being intimate in the tent together. And so it probably was very weird for him because I was drifting in and out of different dimensions. But he stuck around for 10 years after that, so it could but I think where I was traveling to were the past lives that I'd experienced with him. And because one of them, I actually saw who we were. And I said to him, oh my goodness, I just saw us as these people. And he said, that's really odd because I've seen myself as him before. Well, you know, but traveling to those lifetimes, but then feeling as real as this lifetime, you know, and it's just so it is happening simultaneously at the same time. You know, there is definitely something in that. So that really resonates what you just
said. It's really beautiful. Like Bashar's teaching is that linear time is an effect that we've imposed upon ourselves to be able to experience change and exploration. So in spirit, time behaves very, very differently. And if you want something to change, it changes instantly. So he says that it would be as though the story would be once upon a time, they lived happily ever after. Then there's no middle. There's no learning of what needs to be done to shift your state of being from one state to another, which is why we impose upon ourselves linear time, this idea that the past creates the future. And he says, really, actually, all of those things, the past and the future, are created from the now, the immediate, right now. And that's such an empowering point of view that all of these things are happening right now. All of these other beings that we're connected to, it's not you. The things that they're doing, that it's not your karma, it's not your actions, but we can exchange information with these beings. And like we've connected beautifully with these beings from the Andromeda galaxy, who are beautiful healers. It seems it's like a kind of form of massage that they do, but they live in a very remote section on their planet, nestled into the woods, just like we do. And one evening when we were chatting, I just found myself just in his hut, watching him doing work on another being, and it's like, wow, that's so resonant. But another thing that Bashar says, which is really interesting, is that your past and future lives change dynamically on your state of being in the now. So if you go through a significant shift, you will have different parallel lives because the information won't be as relevant to you now. So if you go through something like a lot of people are sort of struggling with having been through like the witch trials, for example, having a parallel life where they were tortured or drowned or whatever, and tuning into that. But then that's a reflection of something within your state of being in the
Repression,
immediate.
usually. It's like repression, not being able to show who you really are, because that came up for me a few years back. And I was in a sauna with a friend, and I said, I just don't feel like I can show up on social media as I am. And he said, well, why? And I said, well, you know, because my parents were on there and my family and people I went to school with. And he said, well, why does that matter? And I said, well, because they'll think I'm weird. And he said, and he said, well, why does that matter? And I said, well, because I'll get judged. And he was going, well, why does that matter? And it just came out of my mouth. He kept digging. It just came out of my mouth. And we both heard it at the same time. It wasn't, I didn't preempt it. I just went, because I'm scared they're going to kill me again.
Yeah.
You know, and then when I realized that, I thought, well, that's not actually an issue now.
Right.
I did start, I did start becoming braver and just showing up as I really am a bit more. But it was baby steps. And I think a lot of people, in fact, now is a really good time to how it used to be. I mean, years ago, we all used to be alternative behind the scenes, didn't we? Whereas now we can show up in podcasts like this and talk really openly without that guard of, oh, I better not say that because they'll lock me up, you know.
Totally right. Yeah.
You know?
It's a real thing, yeah.
And the more of us that are talking about it that are pretty sane and we're having the same experiences, well, then there's something in it. It's not just one person being mental. Well, then we're all mental. You know?
Totally right. Yeah, we're all mad here, and that's a good thing.
But you know, if we're all mental, then that's the reality, isn't it?
I find the people experiencing this are probably the most like aligned people I've ever met. You know,
exactly.
Like, you feel like, yeah, actually that makes sense for the first time in my life, and you're making sense, and you all seem really like together, you know, in their mind, except they're talking about something which would be perceived as something really sort of far-stretched. So
that's not to say that there's not deluded people out there talking.
Of course.
And because you do see that, you know, because there is an imbalance if people are smoking weeds, or not necessarily that, but you know, if people are not looking after their energy in the right way, and they're lowering their frequency, then they can become unbalanced, and some of what they're experiencing can become unbalanced as well. And I think knowing where even if you do smoke weed and things like that, it's knowing where your ground level is, so that when you go off kilter, you know, but to have enough to know,
it's about really
when you're
knowing...
not balanced, to know, because I know if I get extra voices that aren't my usual channel, and I'm like, oh, that's not that, you know. I'm aware now of all the different things that come in, but I found through eating the raw food and eating a very clean diet and energizing in that way, that I created a clearer channel. There's not all the infiltrating information.
And there's a lot to kind of clear out, you know. Like when I went through the process of, you just start with the simple things like cutting out, you know, TV and radio and newspapers, and then just start cleansing down and go to your products that you're using on your body, and eventually you end up in the forest where you've got no one around you, fresh air and no electricity. So
Annalisa, we've heard like, you know, the genius of Adam, but I don't, you know, I apologize, I don't know personally very much about you, so can you explain your part in this? I know that you are DJing too, and you're
I think
the earthy element.
So I find my connection's very much to the planet, although I also have these connections to the other star systems as well, but I feel like I have many cross connections into Earth incarnations, so that's kind of where I'm plugging into, which gives me like a really good feel as to what's going on in the collective field and the collective energy. A lot of the clearing that I've been doing has not only been my own, but it's been so intense. It's also been a lot for sort of big groups of people. So, I mean, I started DJing when I was 14. I did quite a few different things. I'm like multi-passioned with lots of different things going on at once. But my main thing was I spent 25 years running dance events, big dance events between I mean, it started off with just one, but it ended up being 17 a week.
Wow.
With like at least 100 people to each event. So, I had
Oh.
thousands of people coming through the doors, teaching them to connect to each other, connect to themselves. It was kind of like a subconscious, at the time I didn't realize, just helping people, reconnect and get back into their body. And, so that's where my sort of main field lies, and obviously went through running that business for like over 25 years.
Right.
Took a change, lots of things have happened in between, but my biggest shift was going to the Solar Eclipse Festival in Oregon in 2017. And before that, I didn't have any, I just thought it's one life and that's it. And then went to this Solar Eclipse Festival and had a massive walk-in of energy, like an Arcturian walk-in came through, and just everything expanded at once in that moment. And I was like, oh my God, we don't die, we're consciousness, it kind of went
All
a
the
bit
information just comes flooding in, doesn't it? And you're like, oh, I just know all this stuff all of a sudden.
Yeah, it was so exciting, but I couldn't really verbalize it because no one around me understood. I had no sort of like real spiritual friends that I knew of that would understand any of this. So I kind of boxed it up for a couple of years, just put it to one side. My little boy at the time was 3 months, so he kind of helped bring that energy through. And then, it was just, I went traveling before COVID, ended up in Sri Lanka during lockdown. And that's when things started to shift in the collective field and I could feel the changes. And then I got COVID and that just popped the lid off everything. And, it was a really good experience in the kind of depths of the illness, because it just expanded my mind and my understanding in one sort of big swoop for that point in time. And then, everything just kind of accelerated then. My whole relationships changed, my friends changed, everything just shifted fast. And then I met Adam, and that was like a big shift the day we met.
I can imagine.
Like everything shifted in that day. So I keep saying it's like I died and was reborn in that moment, because I jumped from one reality and a quantum shifted into a completely different reality. Everything was different.
I've done that about 5 or 6 times in this lifetime. I totally understand what you mean. It's just like a proper quantum leap, isn't it? And
So I spent my
everything
whole
around you changes.
I spent my whole life, DJing music, other people's music, knowing I wanted to create my own. About 15 years ago, I tried doing courses, and I did learn how to do it, but it just didn't excite me. And I knew that in my soul I was meant to be doing this thing that just wasn't really hitting the right kind of frequency. And then when I met Adam, he just said, oh yeah, you do it like this, you make it from your heart. And I was like, oh, what? That's obvious and really stupid, because you do these courses and they don't take you down the path of your soul, they take you into structure and rigidity. So as soon as he pointed this out, everything made sense. And then I just started making my own music. So that's what I'm sort of building at the moment, is my life set.
I
can't
wait to hear it.
Well, a lot of the, the sounds that come through, I have taken through, a lot of my clearing and the work that I've done, clearing my sort of earthly energies down to sort of as aligned as possible, sovereign as we can get to at this point. I've done a lot of work, and just expressing that in the music.
It's interesting hearing you talk about that, because my 13-year-old is a self-taught classical pianist, and he composes the most beautiful music. And when you listen to it, because he's obviously only learning and playing, but he's just had the confidence, he's a very shy boy, but he's just had the confidence to set up his own YouTube channel, and he's getting so much positive feedback. But I sent it to a friend of mine the other day who's obviously trained in piano and plays very just very classical, and he said, he could do with looking at his with rhythms. And I thought, I've heard that myself, but also I'm kind of blocked by thinking, if I interfere with his process, it's gonna, there's maybe a bit of technicality that he does need to learn, but at this stage while he's experimenting with his own sounds,
Yeah.
although the technicality of it sometimes is slightly off, I can feel his soul coming
Yeah.
through. Sometimes I listen, I'm crying because I just think he is so beautiful.
That's
You know,
amazing.
because I can feel the energy and the soul behind the sound. And so we can kind of block a very spiritual process with expression, can't we? If we are given too much technicality, like you
Yeah.
were saying when you tried to learn it, and they're saying do it like this, and you're
It
thinking
was just the
something's missing.
structured
But then
usage.
Adam says do it from the heart, and then you go boom, the block is
Yeah.
lifted.
Yeah. And there's been
Yeah.
quite a few layers to kind of remove between then as well, you know, the idea that you should be doing this instead of the thing that you're meant to be doing, you know, the passionate joy you're meant to be following. Oh, I should be, you know, doing this other thing, or I should be working. You know, you have to kind of get over all those limiting beliefs and really get down to following your actual passion, you know, with all your heart.
Any artistic expression, you know, if it was a painting, you wouldn't say, "Oh, you used too much red there."
Yeah.
You know,
Right. Yeah.
do you know what I mean? It's like it's your expression, and so that's how it sounds.
Yeah, and actually that's a really interesting point. So just before COVID and during COVID, I was employed by a really amazing music. I was teaching university level courses for music production, and there was this sort of rigidity involved in that process that really didn't honor the fact that the gold of creating music is creating music, nothing else. Nothing else at all. You shouldn't be thinking about making money or getting qualifications or any of this, that and the other. It should be honoring the fact that you have a unique vibration, that you exist, and sharing that vibration is a gift to humanity. And also the realization that just listening to music, just listening or expressing yourself, your heart will be vibrating at a very specific rate. And the light from your body will be shining out around the entire planet. And so just by being in that excited state, you're gifting yourself and humanity a tremendous gift. But if you would say that at a university, you'd be like, oh no, we're not going to give you a qualification. You just need to express yourself. Like, no one would join the course, really.
Say that to Jimi Hendrix, you know, he taught him, you know, any amazing musician, they've often just taught themselves. They don't know anything about the technicalities or the name of whatever or anything, you know. It's just that.
So I'm putting together a learning platform at the moment that's teaching all of this stuff. So it's teaching the technical stuff, it's teaching the nitty-gritty of how to produce music, but most importantly how to tune into yourself and express that. And there's no other guarantee other than you will learn how to express yourself, and that's it.
I just love that all of us that are already in that kind of 5D and beyond are just bringing our professionalism into that frequency. I was talking to my friend over the weekend. She's a nail technician, and she's found a way of teaching that in this new as well. Do you know? And I'm like, yes, that's amazing. And now you're doing it with the music teaching, and it's like we are creating that slowly, that new world that will be much, you know, that's just such a better way to learn, you know.
Yeah.
And we're just like, the idea is we're just dancing our way into those frequencies, because when you all come together, as you know, everyone's energy lifts, you connect the heart space together, and then that frequency lifts for everybody. And then you're basically creating yourself a new, you know, like a quantum leap into a new reality. When you leave, you're in a different reality as you are every microsecond anyway, but you kind of leap forward and have the opportunity to have like forge new ways in your life ahead after you've been.
And that is how we are starting the festival. Do you know what I mean? That's just the beginning.
That's amazing. Yeah, we're so looking forward to it. We're so looking forward to it. Yeah, really,
I mean, I literally do have goosebumps. Like, that is just the beginning, and then it's just going to go on from there.
Beautiful. Yeah, no, thank you so much for that opportunity. We're really excited to bring some vibes and get everyone moving.
Well, you know, when you talk about channeling and talking to the other realms, you know, I know that I receive information myself, and Elevate is just working through me from what I received, because when they said you need to do another festival, my response was, that's a bit of a big ask. Like, you know, and I do not have any resource. I'm literally learning as I go, and I have got experience in doing this, but with other people, and you know, it's a lot, and it's.
It
But
is.
I'm trusting that they will send me everything I need.
Yeah,
Because they've
I've got
said,
25 years of event management experience, so I completely understand what you're
yeah.
experiencing.
It's just the pressure of it just being all on your shoulders. I think
Oh
it's
my
that.
goodness. Yeah.
It's like I know what I have to do, but it's like, oh, and that, and I'm homeschooling the kids, and I'm
Mhm.
managing a house, and doing all the things, but trying, and yeah, but it is what it is. But what I'm seeing is, I don't see it as mine. It's not like, oh, this is Jenna's event, and I'm good. It's about, okay, right, this is the space. Everybody come in. It's a container for all these people with so much magic like yourselves, and the people that are attending, and the people that are offering, because we're going to be experiencing each other's offerings.
Yeah.
And then we all just kind of like create this energy, and then that will ripple. But the energy, I just feel it's going to be so special.
Yeah, I agree. We're
Yeah,
very, very
we're very excited.
excited.
We've got quite
Yeah.
a few people coming as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
it,
so
it feels like a soul family kind of meetup.
Yeah.
and it really is, because it surprises me. It's really surprised me, like who becomes attracted in. So Drum Spider, are you aware of it? Like just messaged me and said, oh, I'm in the UK, I've seen your event, and asked to come. And I was like, wow, I'm a fan of your music. Like, this is amazing. And then Greg last year is coming from America too. And then we've got Shunya, who he came last year because he was in the UK anyway. He lives in Australia, but he's coming over specifically because he felt really welcomed and just loved the energy and the family of it all. And it's like, he's not doing any other gigs in the UK. He's literally just coming
Wow.
over for Elevate. And it is just kind of like drawing in people that are, I don't want to say it and make it sound like it's coming from a place of superiority or anything, but it's where people are ready, because not everyone's ready to elevate. They're still
Yeah.
to not be partaking in drugs and alcohol all weekend, or ready to connect with each other on that level. There might still be quite a lot of blocks in the way, or whatever. So, but it is kind of filtering out those people and bringing them in, and
planting the seeds as well. The people who aren't ready that happen to come, it will just plant that seed for them, so that it grows into a flower as time goes along.
Yeah, and it's interesting, like some people that are coming are a bit nervous because they've never attended a festival before. And there's something that's saying, I really need to come to this, but I've never been to anything like this before. And other people are like, I don't like camping, but I really need to come. So they've bought a day ticket, and
Amazing.
yeah. So I think the people that are feeling the energy of it are, there's a sort of energetic pull or something, it's
attraction, isn't it? They feel that their higher mind is saying to them, you need to be there, and they don't know why, so they're just following their intuition, as everybody has access to that.
Yeah.
Just a lot of the time people just don't listen to it.
No, and we always, sometimes I go, I know, I just don't want to do that yet, and it's going dunk, 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 dunk. Write that book. Oh, I will. Just let me do the festival. That kind of thing. So you have a dance. Is it next week? Next Thursday?
It's on the 24th, isn't it?
It's 24th of July.
On the beach.
It is, yeah. It's at Sobo Beach.
I was just down the beach from there yesterday. My friend said, and we were so lucky. There were these Eastern Europeans next to us that are playing Eastern European psytrance.
Oh, amazing!
And me and my mate were sat there like, yeah, we were like that to them, like, we love your music. And then my friend said, oh, we should do a dance on the beach. I said, it's all right, because Adam and Annalisa are doing one next week. So I think he's going to come too.
Yeah, it's a really amazing spot. It's just beautiful. It's a lovely, it's almost like going to Ibiza, one of the beach bars there. But
I always think it is there, yeah. It's got a party vibe.
They've got smoothies, chai, all the sort of lovely...
Yeah, poke bowls.
Yeah. And it's our third beach dance, because we did a couple of test runs last year or the year before.
Mm.
And we're just kind of getting started again. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited for that because I
That's
like the beach and I like dancing. So
yeah, perfect. Yeah.
and also my children go to their dad's on a Thursday afternoon, and so I'm child free
Oh,
too.
amazing. Oh,
It's
that's
like my
great.
freedom evening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
isn't it? Good night.
Brilliant. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Really
Yeah,
looking
so you've
forward to it.
got that, and then what else have you got on offer, and where can people find you?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So every
Oh, I think we've lost signal. Oh, well, I'll put the details in the description below.